It really, if you think about it, almost nothing happened there. In that first entire bit, Shion stood in front of a door for a while, tried a set of keys twice, got through a door, then ran over to a fence and climbed over it. That's what that just described. That whole, 30-minute thing? That's it. Ah. Yeah, reasons to not install the alarm. The alarm bells that can be heard outside in a prison. Although, yeah, alarm bells that can be heard in a prison could tend to give the other prisoners inside a reason to do something. It's like, oh, things are going down now. I'm going to cause havoc. Yeah. If you're going to do something like that, if you're going to set off an alarm bell so all the guards know to be alert, that is why you have them wear little earpieces and have the alert sent only to those earpieces. You know. Yeah, the anime will probably press that into like 30 seconds, really. They may take a full minute on it, who knows. Anyway. I watched the school premises while waiting, but it looked like nothing strange was going on. The building was lit up, and the beautiful Western-style architecture made it hard to believe that it was a school. It should be armed with electrifying wires, searchlights, and guard dogs like the prison it is. I thought I'd experience a surge of school memories in a situation like this, but it didn't happen. That sort of thing only happens when you have good memories. I have no good memories of this school, so there's nothing to remember. But if I could pick a series of images to recall, it'd be the luxurious dinners we had every night. So my memories would be nothing but international cuisine, Japanese, Chinese, French, and so on. What the hell? That's just too funny. I burst into laughter. At that point, I heard a car approaching. I crouched in the darkness. The plate number is the same as I was expecting. That's the car. I jumped out and rushed to the passenger side, then opened the door and got in. It's a trap! Thank God, dialogue. The driver was a man of early old age. He'd be angry if he heard me say that, though. He thinks he's still middle-aged. He looked at my face and learned that I succeeded. He smiled.
シャバの空気は久しぶり。とにかく今は銀シャリが食いたいかな。
学園では上品なお料理ばかりが出てると聞いてましたが、シオンさんにだけは麦飯が出ていたんですか?
Yeah, it's the same exact car that everyone uses.
バカ、そんなわけないでしょ。冗談に決まってるじゃない。ほら、笑ってる暇があったらとっととアクセルを吹かす。
はいはい、仰せのままに。
The dread pirate Kasai there. Slightly different little upbeat accordion tune, too. This reminds me of a puzzle. The music, it literally does. It reminds me of Layton. Kasai really did laugh out loud. After telling me to buckle up, he accelerated. The cathedral-like school disappeared from the mirror in an instant. It disappeared so quick that I didn't have time for a surge of dinner memories. goodbye, my lovely school days. Oh God, we're crossing into Danganronpa. I'm gonna fill my stomach with junk food from now on. I'll forever be free from the table manners you taught me. Ha ha ha! Serves you right. As we drove, the scenery began to change. The melody line is a little bit different. It's a little different. Soon we were surrounded by vast fields of crops and new streetlights. It reminded me that this was just the countryside of Japan, not Europe.
お腹は空いてないですか？どこか飯の食えるところに寄りましょうか。
食事してるからいい。
I lied. I'm actually a bit hungry. I didn't eat much at dinner to avoid slowing myself down with a full stomach. I appreciated Kasai's offer, but I didn't feel like taking the time to eat while we were still in enemy territory.
この時間ですから、高速に上がってしまうとサービスエリアへ寄っても自販機しかないですよ。まあ、最近はハンバーガーとかの自販機もありますけどね。そうそう、聞いた話では最近じゃおでんの自販機もあるって話です。
はあ？何それ？
Okay, that's the M and N keys used to their maximum effect.
コーヒーの自動販売機みたいに器がポロッと出てきて押したボタンの具がボトボトっと落ちてくるわけ？気持ち悪い。
そういうのじゃないらしいですよ。おでんの缶詰になってるそうで、それがゴロンと出てくるらしいんです。
あ、ごめん。缶詰はパス。
缶詰、相変わらずダメなんですか？もう子供じゃないでしょうに。
嫌なもんは嫌なの。うっさいな。もう何笑ってんの？
So I'm going to assume that this is the same dude driving the car that Keiichi met way back in Chapter 2. Kasai chuckled. He must have been trying to help me relax. He isn't usually so talkative.
私疲れちゃったよ。少し寝させてもらいます。これ、リクライニングどうやって倒すの？
そっちの左側の根元を探ってみてください。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the MIB Yakuza that Keiichi ran into. I.e. her personal bodyguard.
レバーみたいなのがありませんか？
うん、あったあった。よっこらしょっと。
Kasai laughed again.
何か面白いこと私した？
いえいえ。よっこらしょなんていう若くない言葉遣いがどことなくミオンさんに似ておられたもので。
And now she kills him. Well, obviously. Mion and I are identical twins. We're perfect copies of each other. When I react to something, so will Mion. When Mion reacts to something in a certain situation, I'll react the same way.
お姉は元気？
多分元気かと。私も親族会議の席に親父さんをお連れするときに少しすれ違う程度ですし。
そっか。お姉はもう実家じゃないんだったね。南沢のばあさんのとこだっけ？
シオンさんが学園に入られるのと一緒の時期に園崎本家に移られました。
You know, until it blew it up, I really liked the thought that Shion was secretly behind everything in order to take over Mion's place. But then they destroyed that theory in Chapter 2, the same time I came up with it. I responded with disinterest, even though I was the one to ask about her in the first place. The main house is where Oryu, the current leader of the Sonozaki family, lives. That's my grandma, who I call a hag. But when we use the phrase the main house, that usually means more than just a dwelling. What Kasai refers to is the same thing.
少しは変わった？
ミオンさんがですか？
そう。あのばあさんと朝から晩まで顔を合わせてりゃ少しは変わるでしょ。
Kasai chuckled yet again. He knows I hate my grandma.
私が見る限り変わったようには感じません。シオンさんの知っているミオンさんのままですよ。
私はどう？私は変わった？
いいえ、全然。
Kasai responded quickly with a smirk. I haven't seen him for a while, though. It's not fun if he answers this quickly. I glared at him, then he burst out laughing.
全然変わっておられませんよ。あれだけのお嬢様学校に入られたのに全く変わらないというのは驚くに値します。
チェー、好きなだけ笑ってろ。私は寝るよ、寝る。
後ろの席に毛布がありますよ。使ってください。
うん、ありがとう。
I grabbed the blanket and rolled up in it. I'm exhausted, but I can't go to sleep. It's strange. Or maybe not. I must be tired from the escape. It's just that I'm still feeling tense. So I have to declare it once again, if only to calm myself.
寝る。私は寝るよ。
はいはい、さっきからもう3回目です。それとも私が許可しないと寝れないんですか？
今日のあんたが喋りすぎ。あんたが少し黙っててくんないと眠気も引っ込んじゃう。
失礼しました、姫君。ではしばらく黙らせてもらいます。
What do you want? Noisy. Kitty. If you want attention, you gotta be near where my hands are. I can't reach under my chair that easily. At least not that part of my chair. Get over here. If you're gonna howl for attention. How did she end up in that school in the first place if she has all these powerful connections? I don't know. This interaction with Kasai reminded me of the old peaceful days in Okonomiya. Well, I don't really know if I can call those days peaceful. We were in the middle of the dam protests back then, after all. We were all united together, and now that I think about it, we pulled a lot of pretty dangerous stunts. If the authorities ever find out what I did, I'll never escape going to juvie. Well, at least half the people in Hinabazawa would be off to prison. We didn't think of them as criminal acts, though. It was a war. It might also have been a festival where every person in Hinabazawa joined together in protest. It was a struggle, but it was also fun. It was fun to throw stones at the SWAT team with everybody. We hid ourselves in somebody's home when they chased after us. We'd even go crowd around the police station demanding the release of our arrested comrades. When we snuck into the construction site and sabotaged it, it felt more like we were playing at war than conducting one. I got so excited back then. I felt united with my fellow members, even though they were strangers to me, and that memory warms my heart. Yes, the way it felt back then was like helping everyone to carry a sacred palanquin through the village, getting all sweaty and exhausted together, until we all collapsed face first on the ground and shared our excitement and cheers with unfamiliar faces over tea. I was just a kid back then. I remember accompanying young men who worked for my dad out to the village to do various bad things. I was arrested a few times. It didn't feel any different, though, than when I was called to the teacher's office for forgetting my homework. The other villagers were furious about the damn project, but for those of us who were kids at the time, it's a pretty fun memory. All that came to a sudden end a few years ago. It wasn't only the power of the protest that ended the damn construction project. The Sonozaki family and my dad's organization had worked secretly in the shadows. This is top secret information in the Sonozaki family, but it said they may or may not have kidnapped the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to blackmail him. The grandson was found a few days after the abduction. He was found in the mountains of Yagochi. Yagochi? That's close as I'm getting. He didn't simply disappear, and he wasn't demoned away. That means some kind of deal was made secretly. Yeah, just to be clear, everyone in the village is your friend until you step on the wrong toe and then they all want to kill you. That's exactly how that works. A year after that, the damn construction plan was halted indefinitely. The police suspected the villagers' involvement and investigated, but they couldn't find any leads. Yeah, this... You know... I mean, I think the events of Chapter 4 happened no matter what. It's just the events of Chapters 1, 2, and 3 that are very much up in the air because they don't really coincide with each other. That's like 3 separate timelines in the first 3 chapters. Chapters 4 and 5, so far, 5 anyway, can exist with any of the 3 on its own, but not with any 2 of the 3, if that makes any sense. But which one is it? 1, 2, or 3? Is that the real connecting story between chapters 4 and 5 here? That's the question. The villagers never betrayed each other. They'd do anything to protect their fellow man. They fabricated fake alibis and fake evidence. It was easy to deceive the police. The car suddenly shook, snapping me out of it. We must run over a bump or something. I suddenly realized my expression was a very happy one for some reason. Ah, I must be looking forward to going home.
Shion-san, 起きてますか?
何?
お帰りですが、起きるのがよろしいですよね。
他にどこに帰んのよ。
I answered straightforwardly with a frown. Kasai, then, also chose to reply straightforwardly.
シオンさんを全寮制の学園に入学させる決定は、園崎本家当主が下したものです。
So, or you decided she needed to go to finishing school while Mion stayed behind.
シオンさんはその学園を抜け出した。どういうことかお分かりですね。
ばあさんの決めた学校が私に合わなかったってだけでしょ。
シオンさん。
待ってるって。うっさいな。
As the head of the Sonozaki family, the hag's decisions are absolute. They're nothing like, say, the 3-second rule. Worse, the decision to confine me to an academy far away from the Sonozaki family was made before I was even born. Shion was the name they gave me. My sister Mion has a character that means demon in her name. That was to signify that she's the successor of demons. In other words, she would be the successor to the Sonozaki family and its demonic bloodline. My name, Shion, has a character that means temple in it. That means I was destined to take the veil and be confined in the temple. Thinking of that reminds me how much I hate this name of mine. For starters, the person known as Shion is an abominable being to the Sonozaki family, because it meant the family had 2 heirs. I don't have to cite the countless historical examples to explain. It's easy to imagine how that could prove troublesome for succession. According to our long-held family traditions, one of the twins was to be strangled to death right after birth. Unbelievable, isn't it? What that means is that I have to be grateful just to be alive and breathing to this day. I heard the hag actually put her hands around my neck right after I was born. I don't know what exchange took place in that moment. Maybe some brave relative of mine managed to get her to stop. Or maybe she was in an extremely good mood that day. Then don't try to strangle me! We're twins. There are no apparent differences between us. But the first one out of my mom's stomach was named Mion, and the second one that drew the short straw and got named Shion. Everyone else is desperate to tell us apart, but we sisters just found that awfully ridiculous. There wasn't any difference between us. No one could tell us apart, even if we only swapped hats. We wondered why the grown-ups were trying to see the differences. Well, our fun as twins didn't last forever. One day, they created an undeniable, clear distinction between Mion and Shion. Mion went to the main Sonozaki house to live with the hag and to learn how to become the successor. And I was to be confined at St. Lucia's. I have no objections to Sis's inheritance. I used to be jealous, but now I feel that having to learn about and follow the traditions would just make me tired. I even feel sorry for Mion. So I'm not going to be a threat to the family even if I'm back in Okonomiya. But the hag doesn't seem to think that way. Yeah, the Sonozaki family. Wonderful group of people, aren't they? She thinks of me as some kind of evil omen. That's why she wanted me to keep me away from her. That doesn't matter to me. I don't want to see her face either. I don't care if she doesn't allow me to enter Hinamizawa. She can charge me 10,000 yen per step I take there. But I want her to let me live in Okonomiya where I grew up. When I was little, I was in Hinamizawa, but don't remember it much. And I'm not very attached to it. I do have good memories of my elementary school days in Okonomiya. The town isn't very sophisticated, but I kind of like it there.
沖宮の町へ帰れば親族の誰かの目に触れることになります。やがては必ず本家の知るところになります。
ばあさんの耳に入ったらどうなるかってこと？まあそりゃやばいことにはなるかもね。
お分かりならいいんですがね。
なーに、カサイ。あんた今から私に引き返してあそこへ戻れって言ってるわけ？
まさか。そんなことは言いませんよ。私が言いたいのは
相応の覚悟はあるんだろうなってことでしょ。
口先だけでなく本当に理解してるんならいいんですがね。
まあそうだろうね。万が一の時は脱走の手伝いをした葛西も責任は免れないだろうしね。葛西も小指に未練があるなら今のうちに小指にいっぱいキスをしておいた方がいいんじゃない？
That's kind of harsh there, Shion.
その時はシオンさんもすまきにされて鬼が淵沼に放り込まれるくらいの覚悟をしてくださいよ。
That's even harsher.
ああ、あるいは本家離れの秘密部屋送りかも。
Wow, he even knows about that torture room. Okay. I heard there's a big torture room in the main Sonozaki house. Yes, and in one timeline you get introduced to it pretty well. I've never seen it, though. I heard they used to torture and kill the enemies of the village in there. It's just awful, really. I hope I don't end up as victim of that place. Just avoid Chapter 2 and you'll be fine there.
はいはい。ま、なんとかなるって。
つくづくシオンさんは姉さんに似ている。その出たとこ勝負的なところが特にです。
Hello, Rin.
そりゃ似るでしょ。実際の母親だもん。
My dad and mom will be furious if they find out about my escape. I'm more afraid of them than the hag. I don't want to go into the details, but my dad is part of the Yakuza. He's in charge of the organization which covers the Shishibuni area. He's in a very important position. So is Kasai here. He's an old friend of Dad who really trusts him. I don't know if this is true, but I heard Kasai used to be very aggressive, though he's gentle now. I also heard he has tons of scars. He was in charge of a few large areas, but after he was injured badly in a fight, he retired. Now he's my dad's consultant, aka a drinking buddy. He was my caretaker in my childhood, and now I feel like he's my butler. At first, I thought my dad asked him to supervise me, so I hated him. But in time, I started to feel like he was on my side. This is just a hunch, but I think Kasai used to be in love with my mom. My dad, mom, and Kasai were in a love triangle. But my dad took the lead in the end. Kasai couldn't leave my mom entirely, so he stayed around as my dad's friend. I can tell that, from the way he acts, he's seeing my mom in me. That's worrying. Just a little. That's why he says I look like my mom every now and then. Also, I don't think that suit fits you very well, dude. You really need to talk to your tailor. It kind of gave me the creeps at first, but he isn't a bad guy at all. He's actually pretty funny. I only found that out after I got used to him. So when I thought about escaping, I naturally turned to him. I contacted him in an early stage of my plan and arranged to meet him today. You could call him a conspirator. It's not surprising he's worried about my return to Okonomiya. Considering the rules and traditions, cutting off his pinky finger isn't too far from reality. I might be rolled up in a futon mat and thrown into the swamp for real, too. Yeah, he's not the bad guy. Even so, there's only one place for me to return. I'm going to Okonomiya and nowhere else. That's my hometown. This might be a kind of homesickness, but I don't care what it looks like.
実際どうするつもりです。園崎一族の目はそこいら中にありますよ。
まあ、最初はのんびり隠れながら過ごします。仮に姿を見られたってミオンだって言い張ればいいんだしね。
それから
で、ほとぼりが冷めてきたら私に近しい親類から徐々に打ち明けていく。私に味方になってくれる人たちだってそこそこにいるからね。私も親父と大喧嘩した時、あちこちでいろんな人にかくまってもらったし。
なるほど。味方と既成事実を十分に作り上げてから最終的には園崎本家にもおめこぼしをもらおうというつもりですね。うまくいきますかどうか。
行くって。そもそも私を学園送りにする決定だって結構みんな反対してくれてたもんね。 あれは私をやたらと嫌ったばあさんの猜疑心からの決定みたいなもんだったし。葛西もそう思うでしょ？
ええ、まあ私もあの決定にはさすがにやりすぎとは思いました。
ばあさんはあれこれ余計なこと考えすぎて正常な思考なんかできなくなって。
Wow, really? Is that what you're gonna go with, Shion?
あのダム戦争で神経張り詰めっぱなしだったから、まだその時の興奮が抜けきってないんじゃないかな。ったく。
Kasai smiled. I couldn't go to sleep after all, even though I was rolled up in a blanket. Even though I told Kasai to shut up, I kept talking to him. In time, I got tired of talking. As I could feel the car run smoothly on the highway, Kasai spoke to me again.
シオンさん、ほら。
I was so tired that I ignored him. I wondered what he wanted me to look at, but I wasn't that interested. Yet I opened my eyes slightly and saw a sign quickly pass by. Kasai probably wanted me to see that sign. It had an illustration of azaleas around the letters that said, "Welcome to Shishiboni City. My hometown is coming right up." And I guess that was the intro to the chapter. Are we getting a proper intro here? This is a first. Oh good, he's back. The fun times are over. Akane-san, even... Ooh, really? That music. No. You don't cut it out right there after introducing music that sounds really freaking familiar. And there we go. One of the things about loading up the patch, and we've received a new tip, the notebook's beginning. So that apparently is the chapter break. And yeah, that's... Why did they cut the music? That music sounded really freaking familiar. No, apparently the opening did not work. Although the opening might work when you start up the chapter. The notebook's beginning. We're starting in 82? June 1982. Satoshi Hojo disappeared several days after the Watsunagashi festival. There were 3 possible reasons for his disappearance. One possibility is that it was an accident. Dead bodies sometimes end up in the irrigation channels a few months after hit-and-run incidents. But since police did a thorough search of the area and hadn't found his body, this possibility seems small. The second possibility is a self-motivated disappearance. Satoshi-kun has been living in dire circumstances. His close friends actually heard him imply he might run away. The police thought he skipped town after killing his aunt. That seemed plausible, considering that aspect. But the police arrested another person for the murder, so this hypothesis must also be considered false. The last possibility is he was involved in the... Game? Did you just do that? Is he was involved in the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's also called the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. He fell victim to it and disappeared. Unless Oyashiro-sama's occult power is actually verified, this curse must be the act of humans. It's only natural to assume that Satoshi-kun was made to disappear by someone's will. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty famous. But the opening may not kick in till we start the next chapter, since that was apparently just the prologue. Who knows? I mean, it worked in chapter 4. The opening worked perfectly well in chapter 4. But Australian bongos? I don't know. They could just be normal. They sound perfect. They sound like normal bongos to me. I'm not an expert by any means, though, so you know. So the question is, whose? The possibilities are quite limited. The culprit is either a member of the Sonozaki family, a member of the three families, or one of their many relatives. Oh, was it? Oh well. The police can assume that easily. I mean, I know I downloaded it and applied the patch like I played all the other patches. But who knows? That is the fun of using patches. I need to think beyond that. Who did it? How did it happen? And why did it have to be done? Why did Satoshi-kun fall victim? What was the motive? Who gave out that order? Who actually did it? The mastermind, the culprit, and the truth. All are in reach of my grasp. Maybe I'll find them right behind my back. But even so, I can't reach everywhere. There are parts of my back I have to make an effort to reach, clenching my teeth and cracking my joints so that the tips of my fingers can barely touch them. The truth is hidden in places like those. I'm writing this because I need to organize my thoughts and memories. Nobody will read it other than myself. But if somebody does, that means that either I threw these notes away because I no longer needed them, or I fell victim to the curse of Oyashiro-sama in the middle of my attempt to solve the mystery. If it was the former, that's okay. But if it was the latter, please, I want you to help me. Please help this powerless young girl. I'm gonna say it's Shion's, considering. And let's see. I mean, you're hearing this, right? It's the same song. Yeah, you do hear clicking.